Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I would like to give you a glimpse on at least what I think a loss of value and a promotion of garbage in this great country, the United States of America. I would say in the past 50 years, to be more precise, about 1970s, when I started observing that, not directly, but in the videos. And I'm going to use boxing as an example. You can be a thug, but it seems like some thugs have class, or at least their thuggishness is not promoted or admired by the masses, or at least it's not something that's pushed forward and glorified. I'm pretty sure there were some deviant members of any society who glorify stupidity and thuggishness. The problem is when you have the mainstream media, for instance, and some people behind it, promoting it as being something that really should be followed and admired by our future generations, which are children in this case. So what happened? It was a boxing fight between Mayweather and Gotti, I think you pronounce these names. This guy's name is Gotti, and it ended up with a brawl. So, brawl erupts after an exhibition fight between Floyd Mayweather and John Gotti III called off. So the Floyd Mayweather's latest exhibition fight did not go well. So basically, what happened? The whole thing was stopped, and the teams started, brawling and all that. Now, the fight was chaotic from the onset. The start was delayed briefly after the two camps got into it early on, and Mayweather was toying with Gotti the whole way through. So, it says moments into the sixth round when things hadn't changed, Bayless called off the fight, but Gotti wasn't having it. Gotti ran around Bayless and tried to keep fighting Mayweather, which is when everyone swarmed into the ring and got involved. There was fights in the crowd outside of the ring too. So, I don't want to hear this, because if you say this, that means you haven't seen nothing. You haven't been around the block. Oh, it's just boxing, what do you expect? All right, well, I understand that, the people who fight in the ring are not necessarily the Nobel Prize laureates or anything like that, or professors in, how should I put it, values and principles and in ethics and morality, but it doesn't matter. Compare this behavior, which you can track it maybe to 1970s, with things before that. I dare you, I super dare you, triple dare you, 100 dare you, to go on YouTube, which has a big, I watched a lot of boxing, and not only. And look at the level of champions. These are champions, these guys are not, so they're the creme de la creme, right? There's not like the thugs of the thugs. This should be a little bit more classy, let's put it this way. Why? Because they can. But no, they revert the same thing. We say, okay, but look at, for instance, Rocky Marciano, for instance. Or look at, Joe Louis. Look at Schmeling. Look at people from the past. 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Now you tell me when or if you've seen anything like in a press conference before the fight or after the fight, people engaging, or on the ring, staff engaging in brawls. I super fucking dare you. And if you find one, thank you very much for bringing that to my attention. Out of how many years. But look back in 1970s and you're gonna start seeing people brawling and all that. I will mention you why I say 70s, because one of this is available on YouTube between Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. And that didn't happen on the ring, that happened, if you remember, in the studio. You remember that one? No, if you don't, just check it out. So it happened in the studio when Muhammad Ali was insulting Frazier, as always. And the guy stood up, Frazier stood up, came to him, Muhammad Ali was sitting down and told Frazier, sit down, and so on. And the brawl started over there. I don't think it was staged because there was not love between those two guys. And then you can see a lot of brawls after that. You Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis, or whoever. I can't remember if it was really, yeah, between Lennox Lewis, it was in, anyway, you can find that, and it was what, in the 90s and 2000s. You can find in 1970s upwards towards us all kind of BS like this during the press conference, during the end of the rings, and so on. At the highest level, I'm not talking about the thuggish level that you kind of expect people to don't give up, you know. And the public, tell me when you heard or seen, I don't know, world tournament, boxing match of the championship bout, where you see the crowd fighting. I'm not talking about UFC in the past 5 years or 7 years. Most notorious would be the one with Khabib and McGregor. Not that one. And it was localized over there. But look at these guys. And this still makes my point. I've seen many boxing matches between big champions. And when one of these guys was knocked out by the other one went straight to the guy, tried to help him out. I've seen that many times. When do you see this now? I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but rarely the champion shows all kind of signs and all this, and you're happy, but don't revert to something like. And then you have the promotion. I'm not saying these guys are saying, yeah, that's great, that's fantastic, but still, if this would be sanctioned in a way, I'm pretty sure that those people will pay more attention, or at least would go through their thick head that if you have hundreds of millions of dollars or how much money you got, you still have to behave civilized, in a civilized way. Passion and anger and all that, I understand that 100%. But still, if you lose it, at least you have people that you have desires. It doesn't mean that if you have desires, you're supposed to go and do all kind of criminal acts in the street just because of those desires, or anger. You have to control yourself. If you can control yourself, you will control it by knowing that the police will arrest you and you get in big, big trouble. This guy's gonna get a little slap, and that's it. And they will be all bragging about it. I'm pretty sure Gotti is not going to say, oh my God, or the other ones, we apologize, we acted like this, or we acted. No, I didn't get to punch my weasel, blah, blah, blah. My point is this. Something happened after 1970s, or at least started showing its head. The great, open society and all this BS is losing its... this society is losing its morality, and not maybe morality, you don't have to be, but it seems like other values, if I can call them that way, are promoted. And as I said, you expect things like this kind of boxers to get into it, but it's very strange that they didn't do this in the 60s, 50s, 40s, 30s. I dare you to watch them. I've never seen it. On the contrary, they were respectful. They were shaking hands. I watched a lot of them. When they were introduced, when they were normal people. Let's put it not yet. That behavior that happened here, it was not a normal behavior. I mean, it was a normal behavior for a certain kind of, but nevertheless, I just wanted to point out that it seems like it happens, it becomes like a norm. And that tells me a lot about the society. If that highest, what are we going to have? We're going to have now Biden getting in a fight with another president. Have you seen this? I mean, it's bad enough that guy, Zelensky, showed up at these meetings dressed like a whatever, like he can't dress in a suit. Disrespect. And people are, it's okay, Zelensky. King Charles receives this guy dressed like that. What if he's gonna just, next time, let's say Zelensky, whenever he meets people, grabs them by the balls? That's what he does, let's say. Will Charles agree with that? I mean, after all, he's Zelensky, right? I'm pushing it. Or let's say Zelensky kisses women on their mouth when he meets them. That's his particularity because of the war, okay? And he meets, I don't know, Berbok, or he meets Ursula, and he starts smooching her deep, you know? Is that acceptable because he's Zelensky and it's the war? Change your freaking clothes. But no, these guys are not even pointing out. I wouldn't. When you go and meet a personality, a political figure, a president, you are instructed, or the queen or the king, you are instructed how to behave on top of what you know, the norms, that how you have to behave in the presence. Like civilized, there are certain kind of, you know, code. You don't let the code to be dictated by Zelensky. He's just a guy that comes and goes. Don't let the code be changed by these thugs fighting like animals in the ring like that, with all those brawling. Anyway, I'm pretty sure the police intervened and beat them and arrested them, all of them. Do you think so? I have strong doubts about it. Probably they intervened to stop that, but charges? No. Probably for the little guys. No assault charges or anything like that. Because what Gotti did, attacking the other guy, if you attack, that's an assault. Right there. Boom. If you assault someone in the street, guess what happens to you? I want the same treatment for that guy. And not only, for everybody else who engage in this thuggish behavior in front of everybody. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.